When and where were you born?
You want me to say in the Jurassic era and in a cave, but actually it was Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 1976 in April.
What kind of things did you like to do as a kid?
When I was a kid, I liked to go play. I grew up in the Black Hills in South Dakota. I used to like going up in the mountains and building forts. We'd ride our bikes along railroad tracks. You have to imagine there was no computers, no PlayStations, nothing like that. So yeah, we went outside, found things to do outside, and did it that way.
All right. What sports did you play as a kid?
When I was a kid, I played football, baseball for a little while, basketball. I don't know, you can say kick the can as a sport. We used to play kick the can a lot at night. You're laughing, but hey, there was no video games. We played kick the can and we'd go, we'd find street lights and throw socks in the air and knock bats out of the air. So,
all right. Where did you go to high school, and did you continue any of those sports in high school?
when I was between junior high and high school, I moved away from Custer and we moved to Sioux Falls. And I played football and basketball and track while I was in high school until I was a junior or so. And then I decided that my sport was going to be hunting and fishing. So I did that in the fall, winter, and summer.
Out of football, basketball, and track, which one was your favorite?
Basketball by far.
All right. When did you get your first job? What did you do? How much did you get paid?
Grandma and Grandpa owned a motel in Custer. So my first job really was working around a motel during the day all summer. We had certain jobs. We had to go empty garbage cans. We had to sweep the sidewalks in front of all the rooms, mow the grass. And I think we got paid $2 or $3 an hour for doing that. But my actual first real job was I went to work at a country club when I was 14, and I was a busboy. And I got paid like $4 an hour or so for that.
Okay. When did you get your first car? What kind of car was it?
I got my first car when I was 14. I have to imagine South Dakota, the driving age was 14. I think it still is.
Yep.
The car was a 1988 Ford Tempo. I think I paid something like $4,200 or something for it. It had 30,000 miles on it.
Mm. How long did that last?
I had it for 2 years. Then my mom and dad bought the car from me, and I got a 1977 Chevy pickup.
All right.
4-wheel drive.
Okay. When did you start thinking about a career, and did you know whether or not you wanted to go to college?
I kind of knew I wanted to go to college, but I had no idea what for. That was when I was even a senior in high school. Decided to go to work at a slaughterhouse, of all places, right after high school, and join the Army Guard because I knew I would need a way to pay for college if I did go. And then when I came back from basic training in AIT, I just went to the local technical college and picked a career.
And what career was that?
The career I picked was HVAC, and just because out of most of what they had, there was more money in it.
All right. When did you move out of your parents' house, and where'd you live?
The first time I moved out of my parents' house was when I went to basic training. That was in Columbia, South Carolina, at Fort Jackson. Came back and I lived with them through college. And then moved to Pierre, South Dakota, and worked my first refrigeration, heating, and cooling job.
All right. You live in like an apartment, or did you have roommates, or what'd you do?
I didn't know anybody in town. I rented an apartment. It was actually a really nice apartment. It was $300 a month. And I lived there for about a year. And then I bought a trailer house. And I lived in that for quite a while.
Okay. When did you meet Mom, and how did that happen?
I met your mother back in about 2005. And it was at a poker game. Her cousin introduced us.
All right. That's all the questions I have highlighted. Hold on. When did you learn to talk and walk and all that stuff? What was your first word?
Oh, I learned to talk and walk, I guess at a normal age, probably around 1. I don't remember my first word.
All right. Where'd you go to elementary school? Do you remember any of your teachers for anything?
Oh my goodness, yes. I went to Custer Elementary in Custer, South Dakota, and I remember I had one teacher, Mrs. Baldwin, 3 times in elementary school. She just kept moving up. I had her in kindergarten, 2nd grade, and 5th grade. And I remember Miss Hall was my 6th grade teacher. Miss Hazlett was my 4th grade teacher, I believe. And Miss Jacobson was my 1st grade teacher. I remember all of them. There's one I don't remember. I don't know why.
Okay. Which one was your favorite?
Miss Baldwin. She was a good teacher.
Okay.
She was a family friend too, so.
All right. Once you got to high school, what was your favorite class?
My favorite class in high school was always shop class or home ec. Still like cooking to this day. And I guess shop class goes hand in hand with I wanted to learn a trade rather than go to actual college in my life. So makes sense that I like that.
Yep. Who were your good friends in high school? Are you still friends with any of them?
I had a couple of different. The high school I went to was pretty cliquey. It was a private Catholic high school. And I had a couple of different friend groups. One in freshman and sophomore year, and the second was junior, senior year. I had a good time with all of them. Had fun. We used to go out at night, weekends, hang out, watch TV, do normal kid stuff. Cruise the Loop is what we called it back then. It was a big loop in downtown Sioux Falls, probably a 4-mile loop, and all the kids would go down there and hang out and talk to each other. I do not talk to any other friends I had in high school.
Okay. Who was your first girlfriend?
First girlfriend. I don't really remember.
All right. Did you have a lot of them?
No.
Okay.
I do. Amy Knutson. Yeah, like 5th grade. Yep.
All right. Who was your favorite band back in the day?
Favorite band back in the day? Talking high school, grade school? Grade school, I liked bands like Journey, AC/DC, Quiet Riot was always a good one I liked. Chicago, they were good. Then when I got into high school, I started liking country music more and listened to a lot of Garth Brooks, Clint Black, George Strait, Chris Ledoux. And I think Chris Ledoux is my favorite singer to this day.
Okay.
Saw him in concert one time with Diamond Rio.
Excellent. Did you go on any vacations ever, and where to? What was your favorite?
Yeah, when we were kids, my mom and dad tried to go on vacation every year or two. We went to Disneyland in California one year. Another year we went to It was called Expo 86. It was the World's Fair in Vancouver, Canada. We went to Colorado a couple of times. My favorite, I would have to say, is Colorado because they were more laid back vacations.
Okay. Did you have any pets growing up?
Yeah, I had a dog named Fritz when I was, in kindergarten and first grade. And we lived out in the country, and he liked to chase chickens. And the neighbor down the road, he got into his chicken coop, and he dispatched our dog. But we had a cat named Mittens too. It was a kind of a different thing. It was a Manx. It had no tail.
Ooh.
And it was a mean little guy. And but yeah, we had Mittens all the time from when I was about probably 3 or 4 years old up until I was, I bet 8th grade.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Trevor.